First thing we're going to do is control click here in the project manager and restore project archive. You can see we have Hyperlight audio post.dra open. Double click to open it up. Now lesson 2. First thing we are going to do is set up a location in the media pool for us to record to. So we'll do right click on master, then add bin, and we'll call this ADR recording. With that bin selected, then we can go to our master settings, capture and playback. And we also want to designate an area on our computer to where these files are going to save to. And you can see I already have a folder set up. If you wanted to set up a new one, you would do add new folder, name it, hit OK, and then hit OK again. And if you did create a new folder, you would hit save here. But since I already have a folder, I will just hit cancel. We need to make sure that our microphone is set up here in the sound preferences, and check and see that my microphone that I want to use is selected. This is the Rode NT USB Mini. You can see my signal here. Output, I actually have an output device so that I can record my microphone and my computer audio into OBS to make this recording, but it would be entirely up to you whether you want to hear playback through your headphones or through another device that you have attached to your computer. Most importantly, if you can see that the correct mic is selected, then you're in good shape. Right click on any track here and add track mono. And I'll come down here and I'll call this VO Scratch. Now that we have our track that we're going to record to, we need to connect our mic. So here where it says VO Scratch, on track 6, we go up to our input. Hopefully on your machine you can see the title of the microphone you have connected to your computer. With mine it just says 1. So I need to make sure it is highlighted with a selection around it. My VO Scratch track is selected, and then I'm going to hit patch. And you can see here this has an output now underneath the 1 VO Scratch, and it shows the input 1 here. Now I can close out, because I hit patch, I can close out. I have ADR recording selected, so I know that my files are going to save there. On the video 2 track, you can see there's a clip up here. I'm going to open up my meters tab so you can see our monitor, and I'm just going to pop it out and then close that. This video clip here is actually a little script for us. And if you select it and then hit the letter D on the keyboard, you can see our script. What I want to do is go to our index, and I'm going to start hiding some of these tracks that I don't need. And I'm going to mute any track that I don't need to hear. When I play back in my timeline,
identify the person in front of me.
I want my playhead to go back to my starting point, so I'm going to right click on the stop button and select stop and go to last position. Now when I hit the L button to play forward,
and you didn't seat it across from me.
Are you sure?
When I stop it, it goes back to where I started. Now we want to check on one thing. Input monitor style. If you had headphones hooked up to your computer, you could listen to the audio cues or listen to your voice coming into the microphone and monitor it while you speak. If you don't want to hear that, you can put it on mute. Let's leave it on auto because that's the best case scenario. And you may want to make sure your speakers are turned down for this because you may hear some feedback. I'm going to select R for arm. And as soon as I do that, I see that I have a reading here for my levels and also in my mixer. It's okay if you don't see that. You might not see it right away. You might only see it when you actually start to record. but I'm going to select these lime green clips here by holding down Command and clicking on each one of them. These are the lines that we are going to re-record. So I'm going to hit the D key to disable those. And now when I go to record, I can simply hit the record button here and say the lines. Emiliana Newton. Yes. Once I've recorded, I'm going to turn off my arm just so I don't have any feedback. And in Media Pool, where we set up our ADR recording bin, here we can see what we just recorded. Emiliana Newton. Yes. We can also listen to it on the soundtrack.
Identify the person in front of me.
Emiliana Newton.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Ada, identify the person I'm speaking with.
Philip Maida. Now you're going to do more than one take when you're recording dialogue replacement. So let's arm the track for record and let's do it again.
Identify the person in front of me.
Emiliana Newton.
Are you sure?
Yes. Now, if I just wanted to re-record those two lines and then maybe come over
My lab.
this one line, let's try it. Philip Maida. And then maybe we do this line here. I cannot explain this discrepancy. If I go up here to view and show audio track layers, now you can see all the recordings that I've done. We'll just change this clip color to orange so we can differentiate them. This was the first take I did. These were the second. And when I play these, I'll just solo it. Emiliana Newton. Yes. It's only playing the top track, so whatever's highest up here, like right here, it's hearing this one.
Emiliana Newton.
And here, it's listening to this one. So if you want to hear this, you have to just click and drag it up and make it the highest layer. If we want to keep recording, we can keep throwing takes right here on this track. Let's try it again. We'll arm our track for record. Emiliana Newton. Yes. Philip Maida. Philip Maida. I cannot explain this discrepancy. So here I have my newest recording on the track, and we'll change this one to yellow, so I can hear which one I think is the best performance. Again, if I want to listen to the first one, I can click, drag it up top. Now we're listening to the orange one.
Sit in front of me.
Emiliana Newton. If I want to stick with my first take, I can leave them all in there. They're not going to bother anyone. I'll just leave it here and I'll go up to view, show audio track layers, and the one on top is the one that gets used.
Sit in front of me.
Emiliana Newton. Each of the layers we've recorded into this track here show up right here in my ADR recording bin. We're going to go a little bit deeper into ADR, and we are going to choose 2B ADR session start in the lesson 2 folder. And in this timeline, you see that we now have separate tracks for each character, not to mention different categories of sounds that we're using in the mix. Under Edit Index, we can look at our tracks and disable some if we need to. We can see our markers. Now under the ADR tab, we can get started. Under Setup, the record track will be the ADR track. The guide track will be Emiliana. Under Record Source, we are going to use that number 1 mic. For you, you might be using a built-in mic, but I'm going to select mic number 1. You can see it arms my track. I'm also going to choose beep to endpoint, beep at endpoint, and count in, just by clicking the little handle there. So it'll be kind of a 3 to 0 countdown. For on-screen text, make the size big. All right, let's go to list. So with my range selection tool here, I'm going to just select this little area. I will do new cue, and what she says is identify the person on the Medilab. It's got our in-out point and our duration, and the duration is 1 second and 15 frames. Now at 43 seconds in, I'm going to take my range selection, just select that little area, and I will go new cue. This time the character is Philip. 43 seconds is our in, 44-ish seconds is our out. Ada, how is that possible? So we'll start with this one. I already have it selected. I'll just go to record. I'm recording to my ADR track. I'm actually going to solo this so we don't hear the other tracks. I'm going to hit record and Ada, how is that possible? So that one went a little long. I'm going to give that 1 star. Let's do another one. Ada, how is that possible? Ada, how is that possible? I think that's good. Now again, let's go up to view, show audio track layers, and now we can see what I recorded. Apricot is our lime. Let's lay down one more. Ada, how's that possible? Let's hear it. Ada, how's that possible? I'm gonna change that one to navy. That's the one we like. View, collapse the show audio track layers, and that's the one that's on top, and that's the one we're gonna go with. Now I can go over here and say, yep, I finished that one. Now instead of just typing up cues, I can go to the option menu here in the ADR tab and do import cue list. You see here in the additional media folder I have an Excel document with cues. I can hit open. I can check over this and verify that everything's correct before I import it. Can't change anything here, but at least I can look at it. I'll do import CSV, and when I click each one of these, it'll go to that time, which is really cool. So I would just go down the list and do each one. Identify the person across from me. View, get rid of show audio track layers, shift and center wheel to kind of roll this up a little bit. And I think now it's worth hearing this thing with everything. And I'm gonna mute the actual Philip so I can hear my ADR. Ada, identify the person across from me. You know what? I gotta be honest, I'm not totally satisfied. I'm going in. Ada, identify the person across from me. Take it off arm and let's listen to this. You know, I'm pretty sure I took it off arm. I don't know why it keeps going on. It's so interesting. All right, here we go. Oh, that's interesting. Whenever I do it up here, it turns on the arm for record button. If you want to keep it off arm, you can just play it here and listen to it. Ada, identify the person across from me.
Emiliana Newton.
Hey, not bad. So that's number 1 on the list. And you would just keep going down further and further and getting each one. For this next bit, we are going to media pool. Oh, I have to point out, look at all this stuff that I recorded. I actually was in a different bin when I was recording the ADR. So now I have to move this stuff into my ADR bin where it should be. You can see it there. Now we're going to create a new bin called My Timelines, or just Timelines is fine. And we'll go there. We'll do Command N, and this little guy will pop up. And we're going to call this Sound Design FX 1 stereo empty timeline. Audio 1 track, we're going to call this our Gen FX. Up at the top under Fairlight, we'll go to Patch Input Output, and under Source System Generator, select Noise and the track. Yeah, you have to do both left and right channel of the track. Click Patch. I want to point out that you can either mute your audio playback or you can cut it down 20 decibels by hitting that dim button. And we'll go to this track here, we'll arm it, and I'll mute it. We'll go up to Fairlight Test Tone Settings. When you enable test tone settings, you can see we get a signal right away. And I'll take it off mute. Go ahead and change that white noise to pink noise. Pink noise is, you know, a slightly more pleasant frequency, but with that playing, you can go up here and hit the record, and you can record that frequency. Now you can record tons of different types of frequencies, so let's do this. Let's bring this one down to 600 or 700 or so. I want to do one where it's like I want to do an ascending frequency from 20 hertz to 10 kilohertz by dragging the knob, and then also a 10 kilohertz to 20 hertz. Check this one out. So now I have all these frequencies. I'll turn off ARM. I'm just going to change some of the colors here. Let's listen to these. Whoa. So that's a tone generator. And of course, once you create these, then you can bring them in to a timeline and kind of mess with them even further. Some echo or delay. That's it for lesson 2. Lesson 3 is going to be a real fucking walk in the park. You're going to love it. You are going to love it.